to everyone to this special event, and I want to open this with a big mazel tov to our guests of honor, Stuart and Shari Udala, and to the recipients of our Outstanding Service Award, Israela and Elliot Friedman. Welcome to you, and a special welcome to all our guests from out of town who are here, and thank everyone for so generously supporting our Shul Gala. I'd like to give a special shout out to the 14 couples who are here for their first gala. We hope that you've enjoyed yourself and that you will come back many more times. And thank you to our amazing gala team. As I'm sure people understand, something like this does not get put together in 5 minutes with 2 people sitting in a room. It's a very large group, and I have to give a special shout out to Judy Pomerantz, who really made it all happen. And without further ado, I will introduce someone who needs no introduction, our Rabbi Schmidman, who will give us a Devar Torah.
For those of you who don't know, Tom is trained as a lawyer, and you have to listen very carefully to what lawyers say. And when he says, I don't need an introduction, he's subtly suggesting I need a conclusion. So the story is told of a realtor, a pulmonologist who specializes in sleep medicine, a radiation oncologist, and a molybdenum manufacturer, and a rabbi who walk into a bar. Actually, Google did not have such a story. So, absent such a good story, I will tell a very, very brief Dvar Torah, more my métier, but one which I think is very appropriate to our honorees this evening, and I will certainly echo Tom's sentiments and say really a very, very hearty mazel tov on behalf of Adina, myself, and our shul. We are so thrilled to be able to participate with you, Shari and Stuart, and Elliot and Israela, and your wonderful families that you have shared with us. Mazel tov to all of you. As you all know, I believe tomorrow night we start Hanukkah. And one of the blessings that we recite at the time that we kindle the lights of Hanukkah is that we thank Hashem, She'asa nisim lavoseinu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh, that He performed miracles for our ancestors in those days and in these days, Bizman Hazeh. So it's easy to understand that God performed a great miracle in those days. But what is it about these days? And I think that one answer to this well-known question is that the greatness of the miracle was beyond what God did for us to assure that there was oil that would adequately burn for all the days of Hanukkah, that the Jews somehow managed to defeat their enemies, but rather that the light, the illumination of Hanukkah assisted people to recognize that every day is a miracle, that there is light in our lives every day, it comes from God, but that we, just like the Chashmonayim, have the ability to provide that illumination. And I have to say, in the context of our shul, the Udala and the Friedman families really demonstrate that. Just this morning, on the main level of the shul, in the main shul, saw them there. Shalom Shudas, saw them on the lower level. Here tonight, see them on the upper level. They're here, there, everywhere, and always doing wonderful things. Mazel tov, mazel tov. May we share in many more delightful experiences.
Thank you, Rabbi Schmidman. I have the distinct privilege of introducing our guests of honor for tonight and my dear friends, Shari and Stuart Rudaler. I have known both of them for almost 4 decades. I know, we look really good.
It's true.
Shari and I met at our Sunday SAT location, David Rittenhouse Lab, in 1982. We struck up an instant friendship based on our interests and professional goals, and we've never looked back. She's my sister from another mister. And her mom, Carol, is my second mom. I don't recall when I actually met Stuart, But his name kept popping up in our phone conversations during college, and in fact, I distinctly remember nudging Shari into the reality that their relationship was going to a different level. Stuart, you're welcome. And Mazel Tov on celebrating their 29th anniversary this week. Leadership and Jewish community involvement for this couple that my kids call Aunt Shari and Uncle Stuart started in their teens, continued at Penn, and naturally continued when they settled here in Bala Cynwyd. Both Shari and Stuart have been involved in many aspects of our shul, the details of which is in the bio in their program. But there are countless other things they have done quietly and humbly. They have followed in the footsteps of their amazing parents who join us tonight. And they emulate our avot and imahot in many ways with their commitment to hachnasat orchim, bikor cholim, archever kadisha, tzedakah, chesed, and family. I need to highlight family because that is their #1 priority. Shari and Stuart have raised 3 great children, Jeremy, Joey, and Helen, and they always extend their hug to all of the kids and the friends of their kids as well. It's a warm, fun place to hang out, always filled with yummy food, including tuna casserole, a fun game, undisputable sarcasm, and love. As for Seth and I and our kids, the Rudallers are really family. So on behalf of Laura Marian Synagogue, I would like to present this gift to our guests of honor, Shari and Stuart Rudaller. And I'll read the inscription, Kol HaMizakeh et Harabim, Zechut Harabim Tluy Bo. This is from Pirkei Avot. Those who work to strengthen the community will always be a source for good. Mazel Tov.
Thank you so much, Missy. We love you very much. You can tell we go back a long way because I'm still allowed to call her Missy. Shari and I are so grateful to the shul and all of you. We truly feel blessed, loved, and honored tonight. Please enjoy dessert. Just kidding. First and foremost, Shari and I would like to thank our parents, who we are thrilled are here with us tonight. Acham and Jerry Rudaller, and Carol and Brian Clear. Mom, Brian, Daddy, and Mommy, we simply would not be here tonight without the love, support, guidance that you've given us over the years. Your example is what taught us the importance of working for our community. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
We'd like to acknowledge and thank our children who are all here tonight, Jeremy, Joey, and Helen. Mommy and I love you, and we are very proud of you. We'd also like to thank our co-honorees, Israela and Elliot. We've been at so many LMS events over the year that Israela has organized, and we've heard from so many friends that Elliot looked in on them when they were ill at Lincoln Hall Hospital. We especially love Elliot's laning. Most importantly, our daughters drive to Barrack together every morning. Our only complaint is that Shari and I wanted to be the young honorees tonight. Thank you to Tom Baker and the LMS board for selecting us for tonight's honor. Thank you to the organizing committee for everything and the beautiful evening, especially Judy Pomerantz, Gail Cantor, and Moshe Chasky for their extraordinary effort. Special thanks to the shul staff as well, Connie, Tzvi, and Malka in the office, and Adam and Michael on the ground for getting everything ready for this evening. We've been very fortunate that for our entire adult lives, we've only had 2 wonderful rabbis and rebbitzins. Thank you, Rabbi and Rebbitzin Levine and Rabbi and Rebbitzin Schmidman, for taking our family into your family, teaching us with your words and examples in so many ways, large and small. Achrona, Chaviva, I'd like to thank my wonderful Eishes Chayil, Shari. So a little aside not written in here, Melissa told you that we knew each other for a very long time. I met Shari when I was 16 years old. Shari was 15 years old in our synagogue youth group. It was love at first sight for me. It took me 10 years and Melissa's help to convince her that she loved me also. But it was totally worth it. Shari, thank you for making tonight possible. Thank you for all your wisdom and guidance. Thank you for being my partner in so many community projects. Thank you for being a wonderful wife, mother, daughter, and daughter-in-law. Most of all, thank you for being my best friend. Sorry, Melissa. So, we love Lower Merion Synagogue. We were very fortunate to come to the shul as newlyweds, when the shul was a smaller and more quirky place. I sit where I do in shul because the first Shabbos I walked in, Phil Bork and Harry Schwartz motioned for me to come over and sit in front of them. I have to admit that it wasn't the quietest section of the shul. So I fit right in. We soon got to know some of the other founders of the shul, the Liebmans, the Levins, the Korngolds, and so many other wonderful families. These were warm, and still today are warm, loving characters who reflected all the love, Yiddishkeit, diversity, and values of our wonderful shul. We also fondly remember having Chulin Kiddush every Shabbos prepared by Marilyn Bork and her volunteer sisterhood led by Ira Feldman. We love Lower Merion Synagogue because Rabbi Levine, till this day, knows what color lollipops each of our children likes, and Rabbi Schmidman knows my favorite type of scotch. We love Lower Merion Synagogue because our biggest problem is where to put all the baby strollers on Shabbat. We love Lower Merion Synagogue because every Shabbos I can look up and see my mother-in-law, wife, and daughter davening together. We love Lower Merion Synagogue because we can't picture our life without it. All of our closest friends are here. We pray here, we eat here, I drink here. Shout out to the club that shall not be named. The people we learn with are here. Shout out to the Sunday night shiur, 20 plus years and we're still the beginner's Gemara class. Even the people we exercise with are here. Shout out to the 508 running group and the 6 a.m. trail walkers. We love all of you for giving us so much kindness over the last 30 years, for helping us raise our family, for sharing our joys and troubles, and for constantly showing us how to be better people and better Jews. Thank you for this wonderful honor, and thank you for being here tonight.
Hola, ¿cómo está? So when I was originally asked to introduce Yisraela and Elliot and the entire Friedman Club, and shout out to Anita and Paul, right, who are there on WhatsApp video with us, we think. FaceTime. Right, FaceTime, whatever, works. We tried. All right. I thought about actually giving these remarks in Spanish. You can see how fluent I am. And part of the reason was I really wanted Yisraela and Elliot to understand everything that I was saying. Because we don't really understand everything that you are saying. But after further reflection, I realized the only Spanish that I know is medical Spanish for my specialty. And for those of you who know my specialty, it would be really inappropriate in Spanish. But really, when we think of Yisrael and Elliot, we think of three things. We think of their warmth, their passion, and their selflessness. And I'd like to sort of focus on those areas. Anybody who knows them knows that when they come over, they ask how you are, how your kids are, how your family is. This is a part of who they are. They love everybody here. We all feel a part of them and their lives. But they work at that, and it's inherent to who you guys are. And that's very special, and it's very uncommon. I think another thing is their passion. Anybody who's walking in the vicinity of Grassmere will sometimes maybe hear, Bela, Shimi, Binyamin. That's Israela's passion. They're passionate about raising their children. Their children may not feel passionate about how they're being raised. I will discuss that with you after. It's a separate conversation. But they're also very much passionate about their community service. Behind the scenes, they are always driven to make our environment better, to make our community better. And I'm not going to go through the whole bio in the Gala invitation, but you can read all that they've done. And the final characteristic that I want to highlight is their selflessness. Yisraela and Elliot are always working behind the scenes on behalf of others. There is not a meal train that goes on in this community that Yisraela is not a part of or has organized. And I have gotten those calls asking to deliver something because she's stuck somewhere else, but she cooked all the food, etc., etc. But this goes on all the time. She never seeks accolades, she doesn't seek credit, she doesn't want to be known for it, she just does it. She does what has to be done. And then there's my running buddy, Elliot. Over the countless miles I've had, he's very HIPAA compliant, so that's good. But over the countless miles of running, he would relay numerous communal issues that may have come up at Lankenau. And I joke around that his call schedule kind of stinks. You know, he's like always on call, but he's on call for the community 24/7. And that means any medical issue that comes up, any issue that comes up at Lankenau, anybody who wants advice, he's always willing to spend time, answer the call. Again, just selfless dedication. Their dedication to our community is remarkable, and this award here is truly, truly special, and you guys are very deserving of it. So, I'm going to read the inscription. V'chol mi shoskim b'tzarchei tzibur b'emunah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishalem secharam, and all those who faithfully occupy themselves with the needs of the community will be blessed and be rewarded. So please come up.
Bereshut Rav Schmidman, Bereshut Bratzen Schmidman, and Bereshut any Rabbanim who are present. Shavua Tov and Buenas noches to all. We were told this used to be the Young Couple Award, but the name was changed when they realized that our daughter has a driver's permit and that Elliot's hairline no longer met the young threshold. On the day that we were asked to be recipients of this award, we were asked to privately meet with two members of the executive board. Elliot and I were not entirely sure why they had asked us to meet. As Venezuelan people, our first thought was, were they planning on kicking us out? I really thought that. When they arrived at our home, we realized way too late. Was this about Moshe and Tom were quick, efficient, and surgical. It was like a commando operation from the series Fauda. We were not even sure what we had agreed to when 5 minutes after they left, we received an email from Central Shul Command with Judy Pomeranz was telling us that we had until 8 a.m. American, not Central time, to hand in our bios. We're truly humble to be standing before you today, accepting the Lower Merion Synagogue Outstanding Service Award. It is a particular honor to share this award ceremony with the Rudolph family, as we had always considered sharing Stuart to be pillars of our community. This evening is also an opportunity to give us a shout out to Helen Rudolph. We would like to thank especially the Lower Merion Executive Board and the dinner committee for making this beautiful night possible. We would like to single out Judy, Faith, Zvi, Malka, Connie, Gail, and Moshe, and all their crews for their effort. Elliot and I are extremely fortunate to work with fantastic organizations and people. On Elliot's side, we would like to thank Phil Robinson in the Lankenau Hospital for his generosity, as well as the support from his colleagues at Pulmonology Associates. And I would like to thank Berkshire Hathaway and my senior partner, mentor, and friend, Gail Cardone. Many of you know that the last year has been a challenging one for our family. Both of our fathers have endured health struggles, which had made it impossible for them to join us tonight. Both of them will have been thrilled to be here. In particular, my father-in-law, Paul, who is a guy I had a fondness for these type of events. Likewise, my dear mother-in-law, Anita, who we love so much. This podium gives us the opportunity to thank you all for your tefillos and support. As part of my work, I get to interact with many people who would like to move to Lower Merion. When they ask me for my opinion, I'm always very candid and tell them that my dream, when I first came to Philadelphia, was to go to beautiful and warm Miami. Especially on a freezing day like today. This makes sense, right? I sometimes wonder who could have thought that I would have stayed 16 years in this area and developed my killer line. I am Israela from Venezuela. Welcome to Lower Merion. This is not the local accent, but I hope you call this place home. One important answer is that the Lower Merion Jewish community is the type of place where you feel like you can make a difference as an individual and as a family. LMS is the type of community where your friends become your family. With LMS friends, we have celebrated Smachot, and we have cried together and hugged each other inside events. I give thanks to Hashem for all His blessings and for allowing us to be in such an amazing community that allow us to grow as individuals and professionals and allow us to raise our children in a nurturing environment.
So to go on, and for those who don't know me, I'm Israel's husband. So this summer, our family was fortunate to visit the Altenoi Shul in Prague, also known as the Alten Shul. It is hard to describe the special feeling of being able to be part of an Erev Shabbat minyan in a synagogue that was built 700 to 800 years ago. Being there, you can close your eyes and you can picture the Jews and their history in the ghetto. You can imagine being in the presence of the Maharal. You think about the legend of the Golem, and finally wonder about the fact that this structure was not destroyed during the occupation of Prague by the Nazis or by the communist regime which followed. On our way out of the service, we were mobbed by a large group of tourists visiting the synagogue. We were able to hear Spanish, German, Italian, Chinese tour guides. I wondered to myself, why would such a relatively humble structure command such a large tourist presence of people with no direct connection to the Jewish faith? As we were informed that we were receiving this award, and we were thinking of what Lower Merion Synagogue meant to us, an idea started to come to mind. The word synagogue comes from the Greek synagein, which means to bring together. In Hebrew, it is called a Beit HaKnesset, or place of gathering. This concept is further cemented by Robert Sachs and his conversation about the Mishkan, the tabernacle. And he states, the sanctuary was not a place in which the objective existence of God was somehow more concentrated elsewhere. Rather, it was a place where holiness had the effect of opening hearts to the one worshipped there. And perhaps this explains the magic touch of the Altenai Shul. It is not the structure or the place that bestow on it the honor of being a special place in Prague. Perhaps it's the fact that this synagogue was also built with the efforts of the members of the Prague Jewish community, and in return, it was the same synagogue that allowed these community members and their descendants for centuries to become inspired, to be better, to be holy, And finally, to create narratives and stories that would be of interest to various kinds of people. Perhaps, as Abraham Lincoln would have said, the synagogue is a structure that is of the people, built by the people, and for the people. Take a look around you tonight. We are very blessed to be able to worship in a beautiful structure that houses the Lower Merion Synagogue, and I for certain am grateful for the efforts of those who built, maintained, and sustained the structure. However, the true power of Lower Merion Synagogue is its ability to be the place where we come together as a community. Our main task here is Avodat Hashem and Tfilah B'Tzibur, but think about how Lower Merion has allowed us to be inspired, to do great things, to be better Jews, to be better people. I would like for you to take another look around you. I would like for you to perhaps imagine what Lower Merion Synagogue would be like if you were not a member of our institution. Imagine what ideas, projects, and undertakings would not have been possible had it not been for you. Imagine how many of our events would not have been possible if not for your participation. Israel and I stand humbled by this award, and we look forward to celebrating many years of service with all of you Lower Merion Synagogue members as we continue to build a narrative for Lower Merion Synagogue for our future generations. Shavua Tov and Feliz Hanukkah.
And now for the conclusion of the program, I'm going to invite up David Stein, former president of the Shul, who's going to go through a 60-year memory of Lower Merion Synagogue.
Thank you. And to quote former President Stu Rudoler, let's go eat dessert. I know. And I thought I would have brought a bong.